right, once again, we are back. It is Monday, the first Monday in February 1st, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That means it's time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host, along with
Jeff Belknap.
And our in-studio guest, friend of Southern Nevada Sports News and Vegas Lions football in general, keynote speaker and Beyond the Goal Line, Rusty Spendell. How you doing, Rusty?
I'm doing great, Bill. Thanks for having me again, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely good to see you. It's been a long time, and honestly, we've been a bit remiss in not having you on, but I'm glad you're here. And what you been up to, man? It's been a while.
Unfortunately, hanging around with him a little bit too much.
Good and bad.
And since you probably didn't see that, we're talking about Jeff. Okay, no, man, he's putting together a football league, and I've been working with him on the rules and things like that. Fortunate enough, been also doing a fair amount of keynote speaking and clinics and camps. So keep him busy.
Well, we're going to have a lot to talk about, and we want you to definitely bring us up to speed. But first, let me give the call-in line number. If folks who want to join us on Southern Nevada Sports News, any topic, especially sports-related, and especially Southern Nevada sports-related, 702-483-4444. Rusty, you and I, we met when we were when Jeff and I were with the Vegas Kings at the time.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was Vegas, but I forgot it was the Kings then. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And and of course, more on that because the Kings are absolutely going to be making a comeback here.
Okay. I told Richard that, by the way.
Yeah, and it's an absolutely small world, though.
Yeah.
And of course, you're now involved with the NAIF, in which Jeff is the commissioner. Okay. Did you attend the recent meeting down in San Antonio?
Yes, I did. Somebody had to keep Jeff in line.
That's right.
he makes up rules as you go along. I said, whoa, Jeff, time.
I was trying to make up rules as we went along, but Rusty was like, "You can't do that, Jeff. Don't do that. You can't do this." So I was trying to make the game a little more fun.
Well, I know that to have you involved with, I guess it's the Rules Committee.
Yes.
Yeah. And are you two the Rules Committee?
No, he's the Rules Committee. I just went through the book and corrected all the mistakes. I mean, no.
There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of verbiage.
Did a pretty good job. There was some things that, as you know, were just double in there that one contradicted the other. And I'm going to help him as director of officials in that league. So it gave me an opportunity to look at the rules and get started with that. So I enjoyed the meeting down there.
Well, folks, if you're you're just now meeting Rusty for the first time, your background is incredible, especially with regard to officiating in the arena venue, but also in the NFL style rule and collegiate level as well. And so I can't think of a better person to have with regard to the rules, and that we certainly could have used you in some of the cockamamie leagues that the Lions belong to over the years. But you're certainly you're a keynote speaker. You run officiating clinics,
correct?
And your background. You're a Cajun boy.
Yeah.
And from down in Nolens.
Nolens,
yeah.
Nawlins, Nolens, Louisiana.
With the Voodoo as well as the Saints organizations.
Correct.
In terms of knowing the ownership and working with those teams.
Correct. I know the Benson family down there and part of the children and stuff. And when I was doing real estate down there, did a fair amount of real estate business with New Orleans Saints and Benson's extended family. So, and then of course spent some time at the New Orleans Saints site, and then the Voodoo when they came in. Their very first year as they came in, we did a lot of time over there to teach them the rules and how and what and why.
Yeah.
Actually, I go back to when before the Voodoo, they had an arena team down there called the New Orleans Knight, Night is how it was spelled. So we go back there a long time.
Wow, I don't even recall that team. And we've Jeff and I we've been connected with sports in general.
Yeah.
We're fans. So we've certainly been fans of. But I never knew that there was actually a team before the Voodoo.
That would have been in 1990. Actually,
1990.
I'm not real good at dates, but I happen to have something written down here. That was the year I started arena officiating. That's why I knew that.
I used years back then in terms of I was still married. That's always kind of my reference point. At the 1990, I was still married. Yeah.
Well, we used the term out in New Orleans. I was in New Orleans when Katrina hit, and we called it pre-K or post-K.
Pre-K or post-K.
All referring to Katrina.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I have not been down to New Orleans since Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
I was certainly down there before then, and it's always been one of my favorite cities. I mean, truly a city with a pulse.
I've never been.
You're
Oh,
never
you
been.
miss it.
Well,
Nope.
yeah, you got absolute. Well,
It's a great
there's
city.
certainly an
Great
opportunity
city.
for you this year to go down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah, especially with the what's happening with the indoor football and us always looking to expand in New Orleans. I mean, we're very close to Texas. We got a couple teams that are really close to the border.
absolutely.
So just getting one of those one of those border teams to come through, or even like a Mississippi team to come through would be nice.
Sure, you get a team right there at Lake Charles. I mean, that's 30 minutes from the
Here we
Texas
go
border.
again.
you know,
Another
so-
reference to my ex-wife's family. They're all from Lake Charles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
They got a great
she's
venue.
Creole
Well, you
girl.
can't go, Bill. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a picture down me somewhere. Do not let this man, within
That's
city
it.
limits. Yeah.
That's great.
Darlene and we're still friends. I still love you, Darlene. It'll always be a place in my heart. You're the mother of my two sons, and said that.
That's a nice thing to say.
We were married for 19 years. I got it right, 19 years. So
Well, my wife's lucky. She's we're going on 46 years right now.
46. Well, congratulations, man.
Well, we
Wow.
got married when I was 3, because I'm not that old. So we do things different in Louisiana, so we started early.
Just a bit.
That's great.
Folks, again, our call-in line, 702-483-4444. And I didn't get a chance to welcome all our engineer extraordinaire, Lawrence, engineer, man on the board, and he'll take your calls. And Video John, who stepped out, but responsible for all of our video efforts here at VegasAllNetRadio.com. So, I mean, for the NIIF, which is not necessarily a brand new league, but this is its sort of inaugural season with the new structured format for the North America Indoor Football League.
Yep.
What are your concerns as, certainly consulting Jeff as far as like the, all right, Jeff.
I don't have any
Yeah.
concerns.
Well, we won't talk about the email you just sent out earlier.
Hey, sometimes you have to send firm emails. I'll honestly, since you directed that at Rusty, but I'll
Go right ahead.
I'll come across. Our main concerns are obviously, kicking off every game at 7:00 or scheduled time, and completing a professional product, and getting guys up to the next level, and developing as owners, and just really putting some great entertainment on.
Absolutely.
You and I have a lot of experience putting games on.
Yep.
We've had some games a lot better than others,
Yes.
and games that have turned out much better than others. But the key thing is just to stay focused, keep everyone on pace. Which is, I'm standing as the acting commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the position that I took, but we had some unfortunate circumstances. I ended up taking the spot. I just didn't want to throw anyone in there, that maybe didn't have the best interest for the league. So the
Or
NIF,
who knew the background story
right?
at the same time. You bring somebody in brand new, you have to then bring them up to speed.
Right, right.
You already had the history. You already knew what was going on. So, and
Well-
you were a logical choice.
There are open positions in that league. We are currently seeking a league president, and we are looking for somebody that has some NFL or AFL background, that has some experience on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to, accomplish with the players and whatnot. So send your applications too. No, I'm just kidding.
Call 702-483-4444.
Yeah,
And
call
just-
in now. We'll interview you on the air.
Subject matter: I want to be president because.
Yeah.
Isn't that what's going on in Iowa right now?
Well, yeah, pretty
same,
much.
Same scene.
Yeah. Just remember, this is not. I am not running for president of the.
Right.
I am running for president of, and then just.
We could do a
take it from
hashtag
there.
like Jimmy Fallon does.
Yeah.
I want to be president because hashtag.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But I will say this: since you kind of took over the commissioner position, things have certainly settled down,
Absolutely.
and now it's just counting down to the inaugural kickoff.
Yep. 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I remember when the invitation first came with regard to the NIF. We're talking about, was it?
July.
Yeah, it was almost about 7 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah, and so it's kind of at the time it was like, wow, that's still a ways off. It's amazing how fast time flies.
Yeah, and you always tell these owners, hey, look, 3 months is not very long. That's 12 weeks. We're going to be kicking off in 12 weeks. And now here we are halfway through that.
Right.
And we got a lot of stuff accomplished at the meeting. I thought it was a great a group of people. I mean, unfortunately, we were missing one owner. But he's been filled in pretty well, and we're trying to do the best we can to encompass another league's schedule,
Right.
to actually help them with some travel cost, which is kind of unheard of at our level.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
we just feel like that if we bridge some gaps, then we can establish some relationships that are going to be important moving on in the future.
There's certainly plans for 2017
Yes.
spring, and those plans actually involve us as well.
Yes.
On an operational level. So, I'm really believe that the ANIF is going to be certainly an alternative to the AFL.
Yep.
It's designed for smaller markets in general, and in terms of the operational costs,
Much less.
much less than the AFL. And I seriously believe that you will see far fewer turnover with regard to the clubs that you currently see at the AFL. It's almost a given. I mean, I think there's actually something in the AFL with regard to this is what we do if a team goes under, which is...
Well, actually, they don't have that plan, which is the problem.
Because every year there's a team going under.
Right.
And it's surprising that they didn't. You're absolutely right. They didn't have something that says,
Yep.
okay, we'll do this, this, and this, because you saw it firsthand
I did.
with regard to the Outlaws.
I actually went to the AFL management and said, okay, so what do we do now? And they're like, yeah, here, be our shield. Basically they put me in front of all the corporations and said, hey, can you call everybody to make sure that they're all happy? And then we had a ticket guy that called all the season ticket holders and was their shield that way. Every way that it was done was, I won't dog them out, so I won't tell you how I really feel, even though it's the internet. But I think it could have been handled a lot better. And
Given it wasn't the first rodeo.
right, you're talking about something that literally happens almost once a year, and in this particular year, twice. And then since then, we have the league's already took over another team. The Spokane Shock left, and then the San Jose Sabercats, defending champion, left.
Yeah.
So they're in trouble in big ways. The greatest thing about me working in basically, I'm the kind of ear to the wall type of guy. So I was watching constantly how it was done. I felt like that if we put this model together correctly, that we won't be going through the same pitfalls.
Right.
Well, and Jeff knows we shared this story. Like I started Arena Ball in 1990. I think the league started 87, 88, right around there, because I know it was the second or third year when Jim Foster used to attend all the ball games. And I've shared this story with him, and I had the opportunity to share it with the owners and the coaches when we were down in Texas with the new league. The rules used to change at halftime. Imagine that, Bill. You're running a particular play that you've scored 4 or 5 times on. Jim would come in the locker room. He says, "Hey guys, we can't run that play anymore. It's not working for the game." I said, "Okay," and he says, and we'd say, "Well, what are you going to do?" He said, "Well, you go tell the coach you can't use it anymore." So here I am, Bill. You know the play that worked for can't use that anymore. Okay,
sorry about that one.
But you go through some growing pains, and fortunately, Jeff and I have been able to bounce some of those things off of each other. Him working with the Outlaws last year, and of course my background with arena football and how, what, why, and how things changed over the years, and so it's been helpful. And I've got to say the owners and the coaches that were at the meeting in Texas were open for everything. Had great discussions. Had some really good discussions.
Yep.
Would you agree with that, Jeff?
Ran out of time, actually.
Yep. We couldn't get Jeff off the microphone.
Yeah, right. We started at 9 o'clock, 9 to 5, and we still missed a couple things because the conversations got so deep, and a lot of it was developing a better league.
Absolutely.
Our ideas were
Right.
let's not copy anybody else. Let's use the same basis, but actually make it where people are looking at our league going, wow, that's a good idea. We're going to do that.
Well, I think communication is essential, and since you invited everyone to the dance,
Yeah.
and everybody, you all have a chance to, put those ideas to work, discuss them openly, and then either vote up or down on them. That ideally will set the the basis for confidence with all of the ownership in terms of the rules. They certainly can't say, well, gee, I don't remember that, and I don't remember talking about that, and I didn't
Yeah.
sign off on that.
And I can appreciate what Jeff did, and he kept stressing it at the meeting, the professionalism of the league. That's what we're trying to do. We don't call it the uniform police, but basically it's out there. Making sure that the players look professional. That when the officials show up at the site, they're treated professional.
Yeah,
We do
exactly.
everything the right way, and we put there was a lot of time and effort put into that. And if you put the right building blocks in, it's going to go somewhere. And they definitely put some good building blocks in on the bottom floor, so to speak. Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to. You're going to be able to stick around, Rusty. We certainly hope so.
It depends how much y'all pay me for this.
Then we're really
I'll
in
be
trouble.
here.
See how easy that was?
All right. Folks, you're listening to Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. Welcome to the Pride. All right, we're back for round two of the Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host, along with
Jeff Belknap.
and in-studio guest, we have Rusty Spindell of Beyond the Goal Line. Still here. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And also on the line, we have a special guest from Canner Global Sports, I believe, Jason Symbol. Jason, are you there?
I'm here. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to call in today. We appreciate it.
Oh, sure. No problem.
Well, we know that, needless to say, this is obviously a very busy time of the year for you. Probably second, March Madness?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is the second busiest time. The single day itself is the busiest, but, the 4 days of March Madness kind of make that a little bit busier. But, oh, yeah, this is definitely one of the two.
All right. And what is your position over at Canner?
So my title is the Vice President of Risk Management. So essentially what myself and, the group of people that I work with is responsible for making the lines, moving the lines, putting up the, changing the spreads and all that stuff.
Nice.
All right. Well, again, needless to say, we know that right now that, things are obviously in flux. I think for a lot of people who really aren't familiar with betting as far as the Super Bowl, I mean, for most folks outside Nevada or who aren't, shall we say, punters, they typically, it's that football pool that they're involved with in the office or, with their friends, or it's just like, maybe some wagering that, oh, yeah, I'll bet you a pizza. Jeff will tell you, I haven't paid him off on a couple of pizza bets. So
You do owe me two.
yeah, I knew I wanted to beat you to that before you reminded me on it. But there are a number of, type of, scenarios that you can actually bet as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. Who determines those, first of all?
Yeah, so for the Super Bowl, you have the general bets that you can make on the actual game, which is, the same as any football game throughout the year, which is you can bet which team is going to win outright, you can bet which team is going to win against the point spread, and you can bet whether or not the final score will be over under, a certain amount of points. But, the popularity of the Super Bowl has boomed so much that there is now, dozens and dozens and dozens of various proposition bets which you can bet, all the way down from who will score the first touchdown to how many yards a specific player will have. And those are the things that we're kind of determining. So we're looking at what the demand is in the marketplace. We're looking at what people have bet in previous years, and we're, repeating some of the same bets and crafting some new bets for everybody to try.
Well, I think everybody recalls 2 years ago the Denver-Seattle game, and lo and behold, a safety was the first score. Do you recall what were the odds on that?
I do, and I have nightmares about that place.
I knew you were going to say that.
But so there's two different bets you can make. There was, as you indicated, will the safety be the first score of the game? That's 40-1.
Okay.
Then in addition to that, there's just the generic bet of will there be a safety at any point? That was 8-1. So those things are both heavily bet, and of course it happened. So that cost us pretty big.
Wow.
Yeah, I do remember seeing somebody had was it $1,000 ticket on that at 50-1?
Ooh.
It's a $500,000 payout.
Nice.
Those are I was sitting there watching a game with at a Super Bowl party, and we were all kind of debating. That there had to be some crazy odds on this.
Yeah.
And we were wondering what they were. I mean, somebody was saying like something crazy, like 300-1. I'm going like, nah, I don't think so. I think we would have read about some people being fired, that Monday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here with you guys now.
So
I certainly didn't mean that personally.
so another one that's got to be pretty popular is the overtime bet, because that's never happened, of course. It seems to get bet every year. Do you recall the line on that one this year?
Yeah, I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the exact line, but you're right. It does get bet pretty much every year. And on top of that, what ends up happening is a lot of times you'll see some of the value customers, the ones who have mathematical formulas, and they'll know. Like for example, the safety. they'll know that the price that we're going to bet on, yes, there will be a safety, is not going to be mathematically conducive for somebody to bet on yes because of the situation I brought up last year. Everybody bets it, and nobody's really that price sensitive towards it.
Right.
So what ends up happening is you get a lot of value on actually people who want to bet the no. You can lay like $1,000 to win $100 on betting the no. And while that sounds like a lot, if you're looking to make a profit gambling over the long haul, that's something that these guys will do.
Oh, absolutely.
My goodness.
It's kind of like betting the don't come line on playing craps.
Jason, this is Rusty. My background, we haven't met, but my background is football officiating, including part of the NFL and arena football and stuff. And if I remember correctly, because naturally we can't go anywhere near the bets and never could, but isn't there a bet on the coin toss whether it goes heads or tails?
Yeah, there's a wager that you can place, and it essentially says, will the coin toss land on heads or tails? And believe it or not, every year we need tails. Everybody bets heads every year. It's like the sixth straight year where we've needed tails, and it's funny, but it's just kind of, just the intuition type of thing. People bet heads.
Well, I got to ask this question, if you don't mind me, Bill. Are we going to do it on the final coin toss just in case Cleat doesn't turn the coin over?
I was gonna,
like a few weeks ago.
Oh my God! I was gonna ask
That's
if
a
there
cheap
was
shot
one
at
there.
him. That's right. I'm
Will
sorry.
there be a do-over on the coin
Yeah.
toss?
Yeah, we're going to have to put an asterisk under that one. The coin must rotate X amount of
There
time.
you go. There you go.
Strictly to that.
Hey, so is the line is still 5.5 and 45, or?
Yeah, exactly. That's where the line is, and it's been sitting at 5.5 for probably the past 4 or 5 days. And I did see it creep up to 6 at some other places, but at our place, it's at the 5.5 number.
Okay, so are you allowed to tell us what side the public's on, or?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, the reason that line is 5.5 is because of the I would use the word like barrage of public money that's come on Carolina. The line opened to Carolina -3.5, and it was the point spread move was 100% because of the public money. So it was bet at 3.5. They bet it at 4, 4.5, 5.
Wow. Well, I think you just made up my mind.
And well, it's interesting because before the AFC and NFC championship games, not this past weekend, the prior one, we actually had a bunch of point spreads up for possible matchups. So you could have bet Panthers against Broncos a week and a half ago, and the line there would have been Panthers -3. And interestingly interestingly enough, nobody really bet it. Nobody really had an opinion. And then all of a sudden, the Panthers, they whipped the Cardinals, beat them by 30 points, and the next thing you know, nobody wants to bet the Broncos.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Broncos do have one of the top defenses in, Carolina's rush defense, I believe, is like 5th or 6th. So, me being a sports bettor myself, I'm leaning towards over a little bit. But what side is the public on the over-under?
Public's definitely betting the over as well. It's just been the favorite and over general, the general public side. That's why it went up about a half point. You saw 45, now 45.5. So that, indicates that people are betting on the over. The interesting thing about this game, too, I didn't touch on, is generally with championship games and playoff games like this, a good example was the Alabama against Clemson national championship game. The public bettors tend to like to bet the money line on the underdog because, you can bet $100 and get $300 or $400. So they like that value, thinking, I think they're going to win. I'd rather, bet 100 to win 300 than bet +5 or +5.5. That's actually not happening in this case, which is rare. Everybody's betting Carolina any way they possibly can. So it just goes to show how much the public thinks the Panthers is going to win.
Well, I'm looking at one of these alternative point spreads, and there's one at the Broncos -3.5 +375. I think I'm going to lean on that one. I'm gonna go against the public, man. That's usually a safe bet in the big games.
Yeah, interesting that you bring up that one because of all of those prop bets and alternate point spreads, the one that has been the most heavily bet thus far has actually been the Broncos alternate spread +7.5. So people kind of are leaning the same way that your brain is, but they're taking the few extra points and going it up to 7.5.
Oh, yeah. I see that up there, too. Okay, so tell us what else Cantor has. I mean, I know it's getting close to crunch time this week. You guys obviously have some mobile stuff that people can bet in-game during the game. How do people get lined up with that? And, tell them how to get through, walk it through, whether it's online or they have to come to the sportsbook.
Yeah, so you can sign up for the app at any of the sportsbook locations in Las Vegas. M Resort, Silverton, Cosmopolitan, Hard Rock, Tropicana, Venetian Palazzo. and the Palms. And the cool thing is, if you sign up, there's a $50 deposit bonus. So if you put in $50, the company will match and put in another $50. And then once you're signed up, it takes about 7 to 10 minutes. Just give some information, sign you up, and then you can, bet on your phone while you're watching the game. You can bet, throughout the game as the point spread changes and all that cool stuff. And the other thing is, we're actually opening up the brand new sportsbook location at the Cosmopolitan, moving from upstairs to downstairs and doubling in size. So,
Nice.
That's going to kind of be opening on the Super Bowl.
Well, if no one's ever been to a CGT Global Sportsbook, they have the best TVs. The spreads are awesome. They got every single bet imaginable on there. They got really some of the nicest sports books in Las Vegas. I remember when you guys first redid the Hard Rock, I was like, wow, this is really impressive. And then I've, of course, moving across town, I've seen a lot of the stuff that you guys have done. You guys are doing a lot of great work in sports books in Vegas.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I mean, take pride in the audio visual. Obviously, it's an escape. Try to get people to not think about their normal lives, spend some time watching the games, and Super Bowl's the best time to do it, right?
So, are you rooting against CBS doing the deal with Cox so you can get more people in the book?
It's funny. We were joking about should we do some type of promo?
Oh, right, I would.
If you bring in your Cox bill of getting, get
bet or something.
But it's if you think about it, there's going to be a lot of displaced people who have to go places to watch the game, and what better place in a casino if you're living in Vegas, right?
Absolutely.
Do you have a line as to whether there'll be a last minute?
There you go.
Yeah, I stick to things that I have more expertise in than that. I wouldn't even want to get into that one.
Well, before we go, I do have to ask you this. How did you get involved in this? I mean, were you originally involved in risk management in another line of business before you got into gaming?
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, when I was many years ago, when I was a college student, I was working in the summertime as a ticket writer at Caesar's Palace at the sportsbook there, and that's kind of where I first got accustomed to the sports betting industry, and I really enjoyed it. And obviously, been a sports fan forever. And then, as I worked my way through school, I started out in public accounting, spent many years there, and I kind of just made my way back into the industry, used my industry knowledge and accounting knowledge to kind of end up getting the position I have now. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Awesome.
Well, listen, again, Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to give us a call today. It's definitely going to be a busy week, and obviously there's certainly going to a lot's going to happen between now and Sunday. What's the absolute deadline for anybody interested in placing a wager on the Super Bowl? Is it up to game time or?
Yeah, it's up until game time, but I would definitely recommend, especially if you don't have the application, if you're going to come and wait online. The lines are very, very long on Sunday, so the earlier you get in there, the better for your case. But the last thing we want is people to get shut out when the game starts. So I would definitely recommend try to get your bet in at least by noon, and then you'll be safe.
Or get your app, and then that way you can bet at any point.
There you go. Absolutely.
Exactly. Or come in, during the week, get the app, and then you can bet at your leisure.
Absolutely.
All
Well,
right.
Jason, we appreciate it, and we'd love to have you back in. We got a lot of, obviously, some good basketball is going to be happening next month. And we are big basketball fans. I'm a big college basketball guy.
And this is going to be the craziest tournament ever.
Yeah, it'll be anyone can win.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump on a couple of those real long shots. See, they got Baylor, I think I saw it 150 to 1. And hey, you never know. You can ride it in and hedge it off.
Yeah, real wide open field this year. So, find a team that you like, bet a little, win a lot. Sounds good.
Hey, that's how you make your money, right?
That's it.
Exactly.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Jason.
much. Hey, folks, been
All right,
listening.
guys, appreciate it. Enjoy
All
the
right.
game.
Thank you. We've been listening to Jason Simbal of Canner CGT Global Sports. Take him up on it, and it sounds like they're out opening a brand new book in the Cosmopolitan, which is absolutely beautiful resort.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I can't think of a better place to go down, and especially if you're a Cox customer. Had to put that in there. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break, and we're going to be coming back for round 3. You're listening to Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. Welcome to the Pride. Giddy up. We're back for round 3. Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host, along with
Jeff Bellman.
also we have.
Rusty Spindell.
And if you're just joining us, you just missed Jason Simbal of Canner CGT Global Sportsbook. And he had some insight with regard to the upcoming Super Bowl and the different type of bets. I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling that how people actually sit down and come up with some of these.
Yeah.
But man, 40-1. You know, with the safety as the first score 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was 50
Yeah.
2 years ago. This 40 this year.
40-50. That's still it's a you know what buster if you're holding the wrong end of
Well,
the greasy stick.
Bill, you did give out one of your plays, so I'm just going to share it with everybody.
Yes.
Total quarterback sacks, both teams. We're going to go over 5. I think I'm going to go with you on that one.
I absolutely believe it's going to go over 5.
Yeah,
You've got two very aggressive defenses who feast off of quarterbacks. You know,
Yep.
big, small, medium-sized, slow, mobile.
Yep.
It really doesn't matter, which is why I might lean toward the under as far as the score.
Well,
on
this is one
concerned.
thing, you know, I didn't want to bring it up when he was on the air, but the one thing that I've always done, I learned this from years and years ago, that when a team is on national TV, so whether that's the Sunday night game, the Monday night game, whatever the big games are, whatever the public is betting, you have a really good shot at taking the other side.
They bet the
And-
other
and
way.
even if it looks insane at the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I'll give you a great example. Detroit Lions playing Philadelphia. It started to snow before the game, a couple hours before the game. By the time the game snowed, they had over 12 inches of snow. So they were literally the first half of the game. They were literally crawling down the field. Well, this was like one of the most explosive offenses for Detroit at the time, and Philadelphia. So the over/under on the game was 50. So I had bet it over like on Tuesday. So I had over 50 on Tuesday. Well, now they're saying, hey, there's going to be some snow, so it started dropping.
There was more than some snow.
Dude, it was 8-0 at the half.
Yeah.
Okay. And they made the second half over 10. And I'm like, I'm betting everything that I have on it. So I literally bet my whole account on the over, but I already bet it because I just thought to myself, like, they keep making it go lower. So I just kept betting and betting and betting. And finally, when I saw that 10, I'm like, I'm betting.
And that second half, it opened up.
Dude, it went over.
Yeah.
It actually ended 54
Second half
points.
offense just they just lit.
Well, it stopped snowing,
Yeah.
which cleared up the weather a little bit. They started throwing the ball, and then both teams just absolutely went nuts. And the Lions lost, of course. You know. Always at the end, the Lions lost at the end of the Lions stories.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. But it's I remember that game.
Yeah,
So
a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, remember watching it. I was like, oh God, I hate to be out there, and you know that kind of. I certainly hate to be in the stands.
But it's a betting against the public thing. You know, the books ended up cleaning up that day because people were just dumping money on that under in that game. So I agree with you. You said you like the under. I absolutely agree. We got some pretty solid defenses. I am going to take the 5.5 points with the Broncos.
5.5
Yeah.
points. All right. Well, you've got to the end of the hour to maybe.
Not
change
because
your
I'm a
mind.
Peyton Manning fan, and this is what I think is going to happen. Just so you know, you already know that Carolina is my number 2 team. I want Carolina to win. I don't think they're going to cover the spread. I think that Carolina wins by 3 points. I'm going to ride that one. In.
I believe it's going to be a very close game. I believe it's going to be a low-scoring game because I believe the under, and I think though that Carolina will win. But it may very well be on the last play of the game. It might just be a field goal.
Perfect.
You know, and hate to leave a game to
so
a kicker.
you draw it up,
Yeah, hate to leave a game to a kicker.
especially if you're a Vikings fan.
Yeah. Well, we with us on the line, I believe. I hope he's still there. Is the general manager of the UNLV hockey team with he and his star center, Axel Anderton.
Yep.
Was in our studio guest last Monday, and they had a couple of games over the weekend against University of Texas El Paso. Z Khan, are you on the line?
Sure am. How you guys doing?
All right, man, and thank you as general manager of the UNLV men's hockey team, and congratulations, by the way, are in order for the weekend.
Yeah, good weekend overall. Friday night, a little closer than it should have been. We had a pretty good lead going in the third period, but came away with a win. And then Saturday night, we were able to kind of impose our will. 75 shots, ended up being a 7-1 win. So
How many
things
shots?
worked out well.
75.
Jesus, I mean,
It's like peppering. The guy.
that sounds like practice.
Got to hand it to their goalie. He played pretty well.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, I didn't realize that there was that many shots on goal. That's actually a pretty decent save percentage. You giving up 7 goals.
We're
Right.
looking at 10%. It was it's good. we should be a little higher than that.
Yeah. Well, you know, of course, I came to the game on Saturday. I was trying to get there on Friday, couldn't make it. On Saturday, UNLV went in. UTEP scored first, and at the end of the first period, it was 1-0. And then I had some business to take care of. It was tied at 1 when I left, and then I missed all the fireworks, I guess, because it absolutely, like, I'm checking my Twitter, and just started blowing up. The Twitter UNLV Rebels hockey was blowing up with goals after that. You guys are looking good though, Z.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, it was a matter of time. The goalie was playing really well. You always, kind of cautious. You're looking at the scoreboard, 1-0 after the first, and you're shaking your head a little bit, thinking that it should be a little bit the other way. But I think finally, like I said, the floodgates kind of opened in the third period as we continue just to kind of keep after them, and things worked out in the end. And we had some good performances overall from a bunch of different guys, and gave a lot of guys a chance that don't typically get a chance as we started to run away with it. So
nice.
Yeah, well, that's a hell of an adjustment to make, at the end of the first period.
So Bill, what he's saying is that me and you could have got some ice time at the end of the game.
I think I think that's a safe
To
bet.
my knowledge, Bill could have played probably at that point, right? He's got some background in it.
Bring in the old man. So, where are the next upcoming games for UNLV hockey?
So we got a big weekend coming up. We have San Diego State coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Both games are 7:30 puck drop. A lot of things going on the weekend as well around the games. We have big tailgate set up for both nights with the Rebel Mafia. They do tailgates at a lot of the baseball games as well as the soccer games. And so that'll be a fun event to get there early. Friday night we have Bryce Harper actually dropping the first puck.
Oh, how cool.
That'll be exciting for the locals. Hopefully we can get a good packed house and hammer San Diego State. They're one of our biggest rivals historically, and it should be a pretty good weekend. They tend to up their level to play us, so we're looking for an exciting weekend.
All right, and that's a 7:30 puck drop, right?
Yeah, both nights, Friday and Saturday night, San Diego State. And Friday night we're going to do a blackout as well, so we want everybody wearing black.
Nice.
On black on Friday night or Saturday night?
Yep.
Sorry.
On Friday night.
On Friday night, blackout. Got it.
So then Saturday night is the parking lot party? Or
We're
the
going
Mafia?
to have tailgate both nights,
Oh, both
Friday
nights,
and
nice.
Saturday night. We have our alumni game right before us on Saturday night as well at 6. So if people want to get there a little early and kind of see some of the players from the past as we gear up for our game, it'll be fun for everybody. We also have our parents and family in town as well. So a lot of stuff going on. We're going to be honoring our seniors on Saturday night, so it'll be a fun weekend.
That's cool. So is Coach?
Yeah, I was going to
gonna be in
ask your coach and assistant coach. I mean, they're alumni. Are they going to be in that game on Saturday?
We're trying to get them to suit up for a little bit at least. Maybe get a half in. We're going to do 2 halves, and maybe they'll get out there and get the wheels going a little bit.
Nice. That's good to see.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Is there any further news with regard to the planned fundraiser?
Yeah, so we finalized our location. It's going to be February 19th, 6 to 9 p.m. at Rose Ranch Golf Club. And we're starting to send all the invites out, and it should be a pretty good turnout, good event. We'll have a lot of our players there as well, and kind of make it a town hall meeting type event where we're looking to educate the community leaders on the growth of the program and where we're planning on going with it. So it should be a good event for that one, February 19th.
And that's at Road Ranch Country Club?
Correct.
Yep.
All right. And, of course, the game this Friday and Saturday, that's at the Las Vegas Ice Center, correct?
Yep.
All right. All right.
Hey, so Range 702 stepped up and let me know that they would be interested in giving you guys a couple gift cards for a silent auction. So a little shout out to Gabe Soto over there at Range 702. And then
Yeah, it's greatly appreciated.
yeah, no, the other person that just got back to me just shortly ago was Taylor Barton over at the Mini Grand Prix. He's also going to add some stuff in your pot for you.
Great.
So I'll get you in touch with them, and those are friends of the show and friends of what we're trying to do here. So I like connecting the dots and getting these relationships moving.
Definitely, and we really appreciate all the support as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to have you guys back on this show. By the way, how did Axel do on Friday and Saturday?
Axel played great both nights. We had some really good performances all around, like I said, and he's a key part of our roster there. He's on the ice in all kinds of different situations, both penalty kill and power play. So I mean, he has an impact every night. So it's good to see the guys going, and again, gearing up for this weekend. I think we got a little bit more work to do this week in practice and go from there. But it should be some exciting games, like I said, and the guys should be ready to go for them as a rivalry.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, listen, Z, thank you so much for taking the time to call in. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks again for having me, guys. Really
All right.
appreciate it.
You have a good one now.
All right. Thanks, Z.
Yep.
All right. I'd like to thank again Z Kahn, General Manager of the UNLV men's hockey team. Successful weekend at the Las Vegas Ice Center as they swept the University of Texas El Paso and certainly their arch nemesis, San Diego State University, coming in this Saturday. Puck drops at 7:30 on both those nights. There's actually an alumni game on Saturday at 6 p.m.
That should be fun.
Which we're wondering if the head coach and the assistant coach of the men's team are both UNLV alumni.
Yep.
And recent alumni.
Yep.
And so they're both young enough to get that in. So I'm hoping they giddy up on that one.
Well, I'm interested in seeing this tailgate that they got
Yeah.
going on. That should be a lot of fun.
so-
The parking lot's it's a great sized spot there at the Ice Center, which is located right off of Flamingo and Fort
Flamingo
Apache.
at 215.
Yeah.
Pretty much is the major arteries there.
So I mean, it's easy to get in and out of there, and I'm looking forward to seeing some good stuff.
Yeah,
this week.
and if
It's
you're a
exciting.
little sensitive to the cool temperature, they do have a bar that is adjacent, that is heated and glass, so that you can absolutely watch the game from there.
Did somebody tell you that, Bill, or do you know
Yes.
from experience?
Oh, I
actually know
heard
by
from it,
experience.
and he
the
scouted it
pizza
out.
was good,
Okay.
and the pictures were cold.
And I'm absolutely going to have to get out there this weekend. you
Yeah,
know,
it
and
was a lot of
I
fun.
didn't get a chance last Friday and Saturday, but this should be a tough grind for them. And then, of course, they've got this upcoming fundraiser that now they've announced February 19th at Rhodes Ranch Golf Club.
Which is right by my house. So
So that's a chance for us to go down there. And hats off to you, Jeff, for getting a couple of potential.
oh man, all I did
supporters
was
in there,
ask. I
man.
mean, UNLV's got a good following, and I just basically threw it out there, and that's a lot of all this is. The relationships are usually out there, and people know, that there's certain people that need to have some needs, which is like UNLV hockey. And hey, man, you just ask somebody, and worst they can tell you is no. I mean,
since
I'm
that-
almost a master at being told no.
Since that show last Monday, I mentioned to people, I said, did you know that UNLV has a men's hockey team? And they're like, no idea. And I said,
Great
well, they
time
do.
to bring them out.
And, you need to get down there and support them. And then now at least we've got the information about the fundraiser because, these are some, young men that are just living a dream and trying to reach their goal. And you certainly can't knock that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, it'll be the lightning round, the knockout round. And then we'll, of course, the panel here will unveil our final Super Bowl predictions. You're listening, Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. Welcome to the Pride. And we are back. It's the knockout round, Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. My name is Bill Miller, along with
Jeff Belknap.
and
Rusty Spindell.
so we, if you're just joining us now, you missed Jason Simbel. We'd like to thank him of Canner CGT Global Sportsbook, who filled us in on the dozens now of possible bets and wagers that you can make on the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And we really appreciate him, taking the time out of arguably it's going to be one of his busy weeks, but certainly prior to March Madness. And we had Z Kahn, General Manager of the UNLV men's hockey team, a successful weekend against the University of Texas El Paso just this past Friday and Saturday. Las Vegas Ice Center this Friday and Saturday against San Diego State. Should be awesome. On Saturday at 6 p.m., there's an alumni game that's going on, and tailgate parties on both Friday and Saturday night in the parking lot at the Las Vegas Ice Center, which is on Flamingo and 215. So if you get a chance, go down there and support the UNLV men's hockey program. All right, guys. We had the Vice President of Risk Management himself, Jason Simbel of Canner, give us, the current numbers, and the lines, the over and under. And so this is an opportunity since it's the short round here on the show. So this is an opportunity to discuss our picks because obviously the next time we meet on Monday, it'll be recapping the Super Bowl, and we'll either be saying, wow, this is one of the greatest games ever, or could you believe how they absolutely laid an egg? So anyway, who wants to go first?
Rusty.
the guest.
I'm just going to bet on the officials that let They do a great job, and it doesn't come down to a call. People will a lot of times say, "Oh, it's because of that call." I mean, it's a 60-minute ball game, but I just hope they have a good ball game and nothing. When I used to officiate, and people said, "Were you on TV?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I didn't see you." I said, "Great, I had a good game."
They had a good
exactly.
game.
That's it,
Yeah.
and that's what I hope comes out there. And I know I'd mentioned when we had the break. Cleet Blakeman is the referee in the Super Bowl, and Cleet's the one that unfortunately did not toss the
Did not
coin.
flip the coin,
Did not
yeah.
flip it. Yes,
He tossed it.
He tossed it. I think he's been practicing, and we won't have that problem. So I'm going to stick with that. Now, my heart naturally is going to go with Peyton Manning. Just because he's a New Orleans boy, and that
Yeah,
family
yeah.
is such a class act and has done
They
so
are.
much for
The
the
Manning
city.
family is
So
special.
my heart tells me to go that way. But as you know, I'm listening to you guys talking about betting and everything. And, man, y'all are way above my head because I don't know anything about betting.
Well, I
That's good to hear from my ex-ref.
yes, I think that's important that you got that in there, Father. Thank you very much. We appreciate
Yeah, I guess that is. Never thought of it that way.
that. Well, last thing on here is, man, I remember we used to go down
Yeah,
before
exactly.
those games, and we had to call in
When
those
we had to
bets.
shave that. Remember we had to shave that
Yeah.
14 points? Yeah.
Yeah, you knew Art Schlichter, and all this. You start bringing up all these, Pete Rose, Art Schlichter, all these guys, characters. But and yeah, I think that I'm not a big bettor. I usually get calls around this time of year from friends who live out of
Buddies,
state and
yeah.
say, "Can you go down and do this, and this?" And I do. At least for those I know that they're good for it. There's some calls I get. Yeah, I'll take care. Sure, just like I did 2 years ago. You remember you haven't paid me on that? Hello.
You gotta book their bets, Bill. That's what you do.
Yeah, and it's but in this case I believe that Carolina is on a roll.
Yeah.
I do believe it's going to be a low scoring game, and I which is why I think the line is 45.5.
45, yeah.
45. I would go with the under, and I would bet Carolina, and I think that again I think that it's going to be the quarterback that makes the fewest mistakes. I know this is sounds, yeah, right. Tell us something we don't know. But I believe that both quarterbacks are going to suffer against the defenses that they're playing against. I think it's going to be very physical. I am actually going to make that bet on that one particular line with regard to sacks.
Yep.
I think it's 5. I believe it's going to be more than that between both teams.
Very well could be. So I'm just looking through this whole sheet, and you could probably, usually I find about 10 of them. They do it. Most books will give you a couple that bets that you can parlay, because a lot of people don't want to put the big money onto the other things. I like taking the pluses. I like to to find the one that maybe there's a discrepancy and try to maybe just jump on one of these pluses. First touchdown of the game will be a touchdown pass or any other touchdown. What do you guys think?
I think it's going to be any other touchdown.
Okay, well, any other touchdown is plus 145. So you actually get a bargain with that. You'd have to lay, say, $165 to win 100. That they're saying basically there's going to be a touchdown pass. Peyton Manning, believe it or not, his touchdown total is only 1. And I just that baffles me, especially because Broncos aren't really known for. I mean, they have a decent run game, but they're not known for just a run only.
Right.
So they're going to have to rely on some passing. So I'd have to take the over on that, but it's minus 170, so you have to lay a bunch to get that. I mean, it seemed to me it should have been better at 2 and then maybe even money or something like that. But, that's why I'm sitting on this side of the table and not taking the action.
And you're going to explain what all this means to me afterwards, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully the folks that are listening in will get it, but yeah, I'll explain it to you. But I think that's where our action, the pizza action, is going to come in.
Okay.
I'm going to take Denver plus 5.5
All right.
because you like Carolina minus 5.5.
Yes.
And we'll do that for a pizza.
You got
large
it at
pie.
our favorite spot,
At our favorite
Amores,
Amores.
deep dish Chicago style.
That's still not giving us a sponsorship.
No, man, we got to remind them that when we're there. I'm pretty sure I might I know I'm going to end up paying for this thing. Folks, thanks again for joining us this Monday. Rusty, thank you again for
Thanks,
taking
Rusty.
the time to come in. We appreciate it.
Appreciate the invite.
Z-Con, GM of UNLV Hockey, thanks for calling in. And Jason Symbol of Cantor CGT Global. Join us next Monday. It'll be February 8th. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another edition of Southern Nevada Sports News on VegasAllNetRadio.com. Welcome to the Pride.
God bless.